Context, Edmonton is the city about 3 hours drive north of Calgary. So this fella is in my time zone.
Damn.
Still working on locking my first paying client, currently running pilots with a commercial roofing company and an AG Tech controls company, agricultural technology, a lot of farming out here. To build case studies before raising prices, I keep running into prospects who specifically ask for project-based, one-time builds rather than a retainer. At what point did you stop accommodating that and commit to retainer only? Was there a threshold, or do you just decide to hold the line and find better clients? Great question. You got anything
You jump
for us?
into this one, bro. I can tell you got something.
Well, I don't go retainer only. We actually lead with fixed price projects. This is the agency flywheel, and it's probably the best way to structure any sort of agency business. You never, ever just go retainer only. Why? Because retainers they're pretty hard, man. Like, have you sold like a $20K a month retainer for like a year minimum to a company you don't have any sort of pre-established relationship with? Like, I haven't. I need a pre-established relationship ultimately in order to like lock in the really big deals. So let me show you how it typically works. New lead comes in. What you do is you do some sort of fixed price project first, right off the bat, okay? Now, what'll happen here is this fixed price project, it's like a small cost. It's, I don't know, maybe like between $2,000 to maybe $4,000. It's a fast return on investment. You can like basically spin it around. And then now the person says, when I spend $2,000 with Nick, I make like $10,000. I got a return on investment and I do it in under a week. That's cool. They also learn the way that you work because, obviously you're kind of like putting on your Sunday best here. You're like treating them really well. It's the first time that they have any sort of contact with you. They get a feel for how your agency is. And then they're like, okay, shit. So I've breached the trust barrier because now they like me. I've also shown them there's a return on investment when they spend money with me. And then, at least in my case right now, most of them coming through my YouTube. So they're like, okay, I already have sort of like good vibes about Nick. So then once you sell and close a fixed price, then you move to a retainer, okay? And the value in moving to a retainer after that is now, there's sort of two ways that you can go. Now you pitch them on a really, really big retainer and they're like, okay, well, I already trust the guy. He's already demonstrated that by providing a return on investment, I get like a much bigger ROI. And now he's laying out like something that's even more of like a package deal, right? Because I'm delivering more value than just the deliverable. I'm delivering like weekly check-ins and monthly strategy roadmap, some training sessions for his team and so on and so forth. Well, now what ends up happening is like the fixed price project, 10 people come in, hypothetically, let's say you sign all 10, right? And it's like 10 times 2K, that's like 20K. And then in additional with retainer, like a third of the people that you'll sign on a third of the people you sign from the fixed price deal will move to the retainer anyway. So now you get to sell, 3 times 5K of those a month. And maybe each of them have like a 3-month on average churn. I don't know, maybe more, maybe 6 months. Well, now you've sold 90K. If you were to just route all 10 of those people directly into a retainer right off the bat instead, maybe one of those 10 would say yes. So it's like you just made $110,000 by segmenting your offer a little bit, starting with a fixed price, then doing a retainer upsell. And then if people say no to the retainer, then you downsell to some form of like monthly maintenance, which is long-term, that maybe fits into the way your fixed price offer is. Maybe you sell some sort of CRM or something like that. And so now you make money off that too. And in case like this is the first time you're looking at this is basically Hormozi's offer formula. I don't know if he knew that this was like a pre-established agency structure and like people have been doing this for a while, but it's more or less what he talks about. Get people in the door, then upsell them to a retainer or downsell them into something that's a little bit smaller. And that's how you maximize your total rev. So yeah, you don't need to actually go retainer only. In fact, retainer only is very suboptimal. Sell through fixed price, deliver ROI, and then upsell to retainer later on.
Beautiful. One small add-on to that as well is the thing with retainers as well, and I've found this a lot, is actually fixed price up front is great. Here's the thing. If you have a product for which you're charging over $1,000 a month, that is a cost that has to earn its spot on the budget every single month. So you're far better off charging a 6-month project price than you are 6 months times $1,000 a month. And then you move it after that. You always must have a product they can buy. You never say, hey, there's 2 scenarios. One is you work with us and one is you don't. You want to pitch maintenance and growth. That's it. These are the 2 options. We either maintain or we grow. Little side hack as well, with your recurring revenues, if you can bundle some degree of SaaS into it, which right now is unbelievably easy to build, it's incredible. So it's not just performance related, you're integrating software that they must always use. It's a massive hack. I find a lot of people, I'm sure you've seen this as well, and I've seen it in my community, I'm sure you've seen it in your community, they go too high with the retainer and it gets canceled within a month or 2. So essentially all you've done is sold 1 month of it because it really has to earn its spot. Wonderful question. I let the we can draw on the screen as well, that it really elevates the learning experience in the podcast.
Oh, we're all about learning here on the Stacked podcast. That's brilliantly put. if you have two decisions, yes or no, obviously, 50% of the decision space is yes, 50% of the decision space is no. Most people will say no. So it's actually like 90% of the total, like, proportion of people will probably say no. But if you have three, now there's like 33, 33, 33, right? It's like yes to big deal, yes to a small deal, or no in general. If you have 10 products, why do you think you walk into a coffee shop and there's like 50 freaking products there? There's a latte, there's an Americano, there's an Americano misto, there's a cappuccino, there's this and that and that. Do you think that like, this is just like, it's just like coffee was invented and one day there was like a beautiful product suite? It's like, no, like business people invented these different products with the different concentrations of milk and whatever, different concentrations of like the foam. The reason why they did this is because they realized that by differentiating their prices and by what was in the product, it wasn't just like yes or no, coffee or no coffee. It's like, well, do you want a latte? Do you want a cappuccino? Do you want a drip coffee? Do you want an Americano? Do you want an Americano misto? Do you want an iced coffee? Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want that? It's all business, baby.
It's all business. It's all business, man. You're making me want a coffee as well now, Nick.